Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you how to increase your battery lifetime on a laptop. This video will provide a really detailed guide, so you should watch it carefully and try to adjust these options yourself so they fit you. And the most important thing is gonna be, maybe not the most important thing, but the first thing you should do is to change the power mode. So to do it, you need to go to settings. I'm gonna click on the start button, then click on settings. Now in settings, I need to go to system. So in Windows 11, the settings are displayed like that. So you have this aside bar, and on Windows 10 there will be big tiles, but you'll be able to find the system there. So find the system, then power and battery. And in power and battery, you should see the power mode. It is right here. In Windows 10 it may be in a different place, but you should be able to see the power mode. Click on the selection and you can choose best power efficiency, balanced, or best performance. The best power efficiency mode will save power. So to increase your battery life, I would suggest you putting it on that mode, just like that. Then the next thing you can do is, while being in the power and battery, you can also find energy recommendations. You can click on that, and now it will give you some recommendations, like for example, set the power mode for best energy efficiency, turn on dark mode, set the screen brightness for best energy efficiency, etc. And you can set all of those. You can just click on apply. On different types of laptops it will have different prompts here, different recommendations, so you can just set them. You can click on apply or apply all, and it will apply all of these. You can see that I have my screensaver turned off, so it's one of the recommendations that's already done. And you can do it this way. That will quickly just optimize everything. But now let's move on to the next thing. Remember that you need to close your apps. So if you have multiple apps opened here and you are not using some of them, then I would suggest you closing them. For example, a browser that you are not using currently and not planning on using in the next couple of minutes, then I would close that, because it takes a lot of power. Also, especially games, if they are running in the background but you are not playing them currently, they take lots of power. So I would just suggest you closing the apps that you are not currently using. Then the next thing is to lower your screen brightness. To lower your screen brightness, you can just click on Windows 11, click on this control center right here, and it will open something like that, and you'll have this sun icon, and you'll be able to adjust this bar right here to adjust your screen brightness. On Windows 11, you can click on this button right here on Windows 10, and it will show something like this, and you should be able to click on expand button, and you'll see a display brightness bar. Now the next thing is to use airplane mode if you are not using internet. So if you've stopped using internet and Bluetooth, I would suggest you just going to settings, and in the settings, I'm gonna show you that in a moment. Go to network and internet, and you should see something like airplane mode or flight mode. It's here, and you can enable that, but remember that it will disable Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and also if your laptop has a SIM card, then it will also disable that. So it stops all wireless communication but saves the battery. Then the next thing is to disable the keyboard backlight on battery. So if you are not needing the keyboard backlight because you have enough light to see the keyboard and you are running on battery, so you are not plugged in, then you may want to disable the keyboard backlight in order to save the battery. On some laptops, there will be a button on the keyboard that will allow you to lower the keyboard backlight brightness. And if there's not, then go to the search bar and search for something called Windows Mobility Center. If you have the American English version, then it will be spelled differently. I mean, the R and the E will be swapped. So just search for Windows Mobility and it will show up. And I don't have a keyboard backlight, but if you do, then you should be able to see a tile here, and you'll be able to adjust the bar to lower the keyboard backlight. Now the next thing is to turn on dark mode. Dark mode is especially helpful if you have OLED display because it will use much less power, but also on LCD displays it may help sometimes. So let's go to the settings. And then go to the system. No, actually go to personalization. Then you should see it somewhere. Let's find it. Yes, it's in colors. So personalization, then colors, and then choose your mode, and you can set it to dark. It will turn the applications to be darker, and it will save some power as well. So as I said about the airplane mode before, you can also just disable Wi-Fi and or Bluetooth when not needed. So click on this button right here on Windows 11. And now you can just click on the Wi-Fi or on Bluetooth, depending on which you are not currently using, to disable that. You can see now it's disabled. On Windows 10 it will be quite different because you will see the Wi-Fi icon here, so you can just click on that and disable it. And to disable Bluetooth, you'll need to open the notification center, then make sure that tiles that will display here are expanded, and you'll be able to see the Bluetooth button and disable Bluetooth. The next thing is to ensure proper cooling, because if your laptop isn't cooling well, then it just may consume more power. So if your laptop is getting really hot, especially if it's old, and also when it's old it may be quite loud, then I would suggest you taking it to a technician that will clean it inside to make it run cooler and quieter. Also, you can buy a special pad, a cooling pad that you put under your laptop, and it has fans that will spin in order to cool your laptop even more. So that's what I suggest you doing. Then the next thing is to go to the task scheduler, because some apps, when you install them, automatically add themselves to startup. So that means that whenever you start up your laptop, they will automatically open. and you really may not need some of them. So right click on the taskbar and click on Task Manager. Then you should be able to find startup apps here. On Windows 10, these options will be displayed at the top, but you should be able to see that. And now you can see which apps I have set. The ones with enabled are enabled to run after I power on my laptop. And if you have something like Steam or Discord and you don't need them to be powered on always, then you can just select the app. I'm gonna disable OneDrive because I don't need it on startup, honestly, and click on disable. And now it's disabled. You can also see the startup impact and see how big of an impact do these apps have. So OneDrive has a high impact, so I have disabled it. Let's see the Microsoft Edge. Maybe let's disable that as well because I don't need it as well. And we can leave it as well. I would not suggest disabling some security features or the ones that you don't understand the name of, because maybe they are important. And now that's how you adjust the task scheduler. Let's move on to making sure your computer sleeps when the lid is closed, because sometimes when you close the lid of your laptop, it doesn't go to sleep. It sometimes doesn't even turn off the display. So to adjust that, I would suggest you going to the control panel. So let's search for that. Let's open it. And in the control panel, you should be able to go to System and Security. Then you'll see Power Options. Click on Change what the power buttons do. And now you'll see When I Close the Lid option. And it can have different settings for when on battery and for when plugged in. So I would suggest you putting both of them on sleep. Or if you don't need it to sleep when it's plugged in, then you can set it to do nothing, or sometimes there will be an option to turn off the display. So you can also set that. And then remember, after changing that, click on Save Changes. And now I would suggest you going back and in the power options again, click on Change when the computer sleeps. So let's go ahead and click that. I think it has crashed, so maybe let's wait a moment. Okay, now it's working. And here you have the option to turn off the display and put the computer to sleep. And also it's on battery and when plugged in. And you can change it to, for example, when you are inactive on your computer for 2 minutes, then it will turn off the display. And after that, it will also maybe put the computer to sleep after 5 minutes of inactivity. Then remember to save changes as well. And now let's go to the next thing. Let's go to settings again. And in the settings, you can just go to the search and search for see which apps are affecting. If it's not showing, then maybe let's go to, it should be showing honestly, but if it's not, then let's go to the system and the power and battery, and maybe we'll find it here. Maybe in the battery usage. No, I don't think it shows here, but you should find it, and then it will show you the apps and which of them use the most battery, and then you'll be able to decide on your own whether or not you want to stop using these apps, or maybe not stop using these apps but use them less, or use them less when you are running on battery, or close them more frequently if you are not currently using them. Then let's go to the other option in settings as well, which will be System, Display, Graphics. And if you have multiple graphics cards in your laptop, so for example you have an Intel card and an NVIDIA card, then you can choose which apps will use which card. So here you have the apps. You can also add an app to the list from a desktop app or from Microsoft Store app, and then you can adjust it. So click on the app, then you'll see GPU preference, and I have let Windows decide, but you can set it to power saving or high performance, and the apps that don't require high performance, like text editors or some like easy apps, I would suggest you putting that on power saving, and games I would suggest leaving on high performance. But if they are light games, you may consider putting them on power saving as well. And these were basically the settings that I wanted to show you, but now let's also generate a battery report to know if my battery has degraded, etc. So to do it, right click on the Start button. Then you should see the PowerShell, but I don't see it. So let's search for PowerShell. Here it is, and make sure you run it as administrator. Then click on Yes. And when the PowerShell opens, when you have this prompt here, now you can type in power cfg /battery report /output, and now in double quotes put the path to the file that will be saved. So I'm gonna just type in C /battery report .html. It has to be HTML at the end. So this is my command, and click on enter. And now if it's done correctly, then it will say battery life report saved to file path, and it will give you the path. So now I can go to the file explorer and go to the path. So if you've done the same path as me, you can just go to this PC, then click on local disk C:, and now you'll see the battery report here. Double click on it and it will open a browser. In the browser it will open the file, and here you'll see your data. So you can see the design capacity and the full charge capacity. So the full charge capacity will be like your actual capacity degraded over time. So you may see that it may be lower than the design one, and it's okay, the battery degrades over time. But if it looks too low, then you may consider replacing your battery. Here is your recent usage, so you can also see that for example, now how long did it take for your laptop to fully discharge. Also, here will be the battery usage over the last 7 days, usage history, battery capacity history, and battery life estimates. So based on all of that info, you can decide whether or not, for example, replace your battery, because batteries degrade over time and it's a normal process. So don't be worried about that. It just happens, and sometimes after a few years you may need to replace the battery in order to have great battery life. And the last thing is to update your Windows. Sometimes old versions of Windows may use more power than the new ones. The new ones are more optimized. So to update, go to Start, then find Settings, and in the Settings, go to Windows Update. Then it will show you this. You'll be able to click on Check for updates, and if any are available, I would suggest you downloading and installing them. Then it may prompt you to restart your device. And that's all. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.